Seema, I hope you can see the screen. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Good to go, Seema. You can start.
Good evening, everyone, once again to the 49th meeting of the Showstoppers Club. It's quite unbelievable. We have reached the 29th meeting and one more meeting, and it's the 50th. I guess that should call for a celebration for us. Before I begin the Sergeant at speech, let me ask you one thing. Anything special about the 1st of November? Now, I am not referring to any birthdays or any other kind of celebrations or anything else. Something that you can think, what could the 1st of November remind you?
It's Kannada Rajotsava today.
Sorry?
It's Kannada Rajotsava today.
Yes. And of course, even in Kerala also it is supposed to be, I come from Kerala, so it's supposed to be Kerala Parvi. This is the day we celebrate the day Kerala was formed. So other than that, 1st of November, when November slowly comes in, what does it remind us actually? Anyone? Just think about it. It's not a difficult question I'm asking you all.
Well, we have come to the end of the year.
Exactly. It's just 2 months down the line and we're going to say goodbye to this year and we're going to welcome 2022. And this is a reminder, for us that if at all we have had any resolutions, I'm someone, I don't believe in resolutions. I always keep short-term and long-term goals. That is what I am comfortable with. So if at all you have not achieved, if you have not been able to do something, you still have 2 months. Let's gear up and do something that we really wanted to achieve in 2021. And let's also think, what do you want to achieve in 2022? So this is a reminder for me. 1st of November means, yes, we've completed so many months and now we've reached here just two more months. The year just passed by so fast. Every year passes by. But yes, I know it's also a reminder that I'm getting old, which I'm not really happy with it. But with this, so all the best. Anyone who has still some resolutions or anything that you want to achieve, do gear up and give in your best for it. All right. So with this, let's begin our meeting. Can you share the, if you can share Zoom Master? All right. Let's all read the club mission and you can all mute yourself, keep your hand on your heart and speak along with me. The club mission is, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. We have few ground rules whenever we have a meeting. We have 3 taboo topics, that is sex, politics, and religion. We kindly avoid speaking on that. If possible, please keep your mobile phones on silent. If you're not able to place it or if you're not able to switch it off, it's okay, but at least keep it on silent. I'm sure you all know the fire exit and the restrooms in your own apartment, so I don't have to tell about this. Kindly applaud. We have an applaud button down there, reaction button. Please applaud. And whenever each speaker is speaking, I would request all the other members to mute yourself. And also to all the speakers, please adjust your cameras and look at the camera and speak. With this, I hand over the meeting to our president. Anita, do we have Amita on board or do I hand it over to you?
To me.
Okay, so we have our president is still not here. So I'm handing over the meeting to our DTM Anita. Over to you, DTM Anita. Thank you.
Let's give her a big round of applause for calling to order our meeting number 49. Thank you so much, Seema. That indeed was a very enlivening begin to our 49th meeting. We just shot by one meeting for our Golden Jubilee celebrations. And yes, we're going to make it really, really big. With that promise, let me begin. As the president or as the acting president of the Showstoppers Toastmasters, I, DTM Anita, declare this meeting open. And for the benefit of many new Toastmasters and prospective Toastmasters, what I plan to do today is just open up a little bit about what exactly Toastmasters is all about. So, yeah, I hope you can see the screen right here. The Toastmasters is a fraternity wherein we all come together every fortnight for 1.5 to 2 hours. And what we do here is we have a strength of about a minimum of 15 people, or even minimum of 8 people sometimes. We all come together and we do a very quality meeting. And the quality meeting starts right from the person who begins the meeting, who is the sergeant at arms. She or he starts off, kickstarts the meeting with a lot of energy, and some kind of an information begins flowing in right from there. We move on to the next part, which is the president's speech. Unfortunately, Toastmaster Anita could not join us today, though she was all set, because her son wasn't well and she had to hurry him to the hospital. So, so what happens is during such times, either the immediate past president or the mentor of the club takes over. And I, being the mentor of this club, I've taken over as the acting president today. Now, what happens here? We conduct meetings regularly. So I remember some of the veterans who always used to advise me, saying that it could be one person, or it could be just 2 people out there, but don't stop conducting meetings. The meetings have to be conducted always, is what they used to always tell me. So with that in mind, I have always been consistent with the meetings, and everyone out here tends to follow that. So what is happening here is that we give we give prepared speeches. We have people who are, today we have some program speeches. They have already prepared their speeches and they're going to present it today. Then we have leadership assignments. We call it leadership because they take charge of those roles. It could be the timer, the word master, the grammarian, the hour counter, any of these roles. They're all leadership roles because they take charge of that role and they are totally responsible for conducting it properly. Then we have evaluation. See, when you give a speech or you are conducting this meeting, this needs to be evaluated. And who is evaluating us? We have the evaluators who evaluate the project speakers and the speeches, and we have the general evaluator who will be evaluating the entire flow of the meeting. Now, this general evaluator will come on time, and he or she starts off right at the beginning, goes on to take it further until the president calls the meeting to a closure. Yeah, and then for all those who are not aware, or just to recap, is this beautiful fraternity was started by the CEO of a company. His name was Ralph C. Smedley. He said that 2 different departments, his employees were not communicating. So there was a lot of loss of efficiency and productivity. So that is when he said people from 2 different departments also need to be coming together and knowing each other. So he started this in his own company. At every fortnight, he said, let's meet for 2 hours, and they started to talk, exchange views, ideas, information. This is how it started off as Smedley Chapter 1, and today it started in 1924. Recently we've celebrated the 97th birthday, and it's just been there. It's just been growing in leaps and bounds. I'm going to talk about that a little later. So it started in California, and we have an award called the Smedley Award, which is given to clubs which add members during the famine period of September. Now, where do we stand? Normally, we say that the member is at the low point and then we go up to the world headquarters. But here, the member, you, are at the topmost point, because but for you, Toastmasters is nothing, world headquarters is nothing. People make Toastmasters. So you belong to a club, the club belongs to an area belongs to division belongs to a district, districts come under regions, and region is all that Toastmasters International consists of. And then you have the world headquarters, which is in US. We are a part of region 11, area and district 105, and then under district 105, division P, area 64, and our club number is no goodie points, but does anyone remember our club number by heart or from the flyer? Come on, break the silence. Yeah? 77?
02487.
Yes, fantastic. So So you need to remember that. Yeah, about 5 countries are a part of District 105. We have Lebanon, Muscat, UAE, Jordan, and did I miss out anything? Lebanon, Muscat, UAE, Jordan. Yeah, that's about it. As I told you all, this is how we stand, the Showstoppers, and this is your curriculum. I'm sure most of you are aware of this curriculum. You, when you register, you can choose any one of this, and you'll get to understand more about it from your mentor. If you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you can see here in this legend on the right side. So if you've taken dynamic leadership, you are actually going to profess in public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, and confidence. Yeah, 5 is a part of most of the things. So you have to understand which one you would take, and there's a lot of material about this on Toastmasters.org website. That's going to be your Bible, Bhagavad Gita, Encyclopedia, Wikipedia, whatever you call it. So that's one-stop shop for all your requirements and queries. Okay. Yeah, at the end of every level completion, you would be getting a digital certificate which you can print and frame up in your particular places. Now, where do we get speaking opportunities? How many of you have started already to speak in TED or something which a platform as similar as TED, with confidence, with a lot of stuff? How many of you have started to do it? Or at least in university colleges and libraries, schools, yeah, as a keynote speaker somewhere, in conferences, in assemblies in schools. So we all tend to become a part in service clubs. I've seen a lot of Christians who go to church every weekend. They tend to become very good, orators because of their continuous exposure to speaking in this part. Okay, and then we have the contests coming in. We just finished the debate contest, but even before you get cold about it, start to unfreeze yourself, we're just pushing you all into something more heated, which is an individual contest this time. It's not a team contest anymore. So what are we going to do? We have 4 different categories happening, and the 4 categories are international speech, evaluation, we have table topics, and humorous speech. You can participate in all the 4 or in one, but the only restriction that we have here is for the international speech. You have to have completed level 2 to be a part of this contest. Rest all the contests, it's open, free to all of you. You get mentored if you are okay for it. What kind of topic do I choose, ma'am? What do I do? How do I go about? Everything will be settled because we're going to give you all education sessions on the same. Okay? And then a big round of applause to the 3 musketeers who have represented Showstoppers. I would just say that this was such a hurried thing. We were looking out, hunting for the 3rd person, and Seema just volunteered to get in, and we had a representation for the club. Congratulations, 3 of you. I know as your mentor out there what kind of an investment you all have put in, what kind of grooming that has happened with. It's all a self-motivation journey that has happened. So congratulations for your participation. Accolades will come in slowly. We shall get into it very soon, but let's keep the practice on. So we just thought we should be having debates in our club as well. So after every 3 meetings, let's have a live debate in our club. So that's going to enhance our impromptu speaking and also loads of information that we're going to gather, right? So with that, I come to the end of the acting president role, and am I relieved about it? Yes, very much. Okay, so now we have some people. I don't know, David, have you called these people? Are they a part of Westford?
No, miss. These are some of them are, and most of them, the rest all of my friends who decided to come support me and show their thing. So guys, before I start, big thank you guys for all showing up. Big heart over there. My heart's over here.
Yeah. So why are they not showing their faces?
Ma'am, some of them
their faces as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I request that it's good if you can just open up the video. Have your videos switched on, so that we can see your beautiful faces, and also the speakers and participants will feel really encouraged. So with that, I move on now to the next part of our meeting, and the next part of our meeting is the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting that we had. And we have our club secretary all set. Let's see what she has for us. Toastmaster Sridevi, over to you.
Thank you, DT Anita. Good evening, dear Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. This is Toastmaster Sridevi, the club secretary, reminding you all of a previous meeting, meeting number 48. The theme of the day was Tell a Tale, held on Monday, 18th October 2021. The meeting began at sharp 7 p.m., like a pot of biryani. Our very energetic Sergeant-at-Arms, Toastmaster Seema, put the pot on fire with an interactive mind game. She reminded the attendees the club mission and online meeting etiquettes. Then the ghee was poured into the pot by our very vibrant acting president, TTM Anita. She gave a brief account of events of the meeting, like reading out the recipe of the biryani. This was followed by minutes of previous meeting, like reminding the attendees the taste of the delicious chocolate cake made in the previous cooking class. Then came the maiden word master, Toastmaster Deepansh, with the word elated, meaning delighted, like adding the right spices to the ghee. This was followed by a telltale session by our immediate past president, Toastmaster Tina, in her very energizing style, like grinding all the spices together. The virtual stage was then handed over to the zestful BPPR Toastmaster David for his speech, Gap Year, who added chicken to the mix of spices. As an aroma spread around, started the education session, putting on polish, preparing your next contest speech by DTM David Graffits, like putting the right amount of rice and sealing the pot. Then came the tag segment initiated by the general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Smita, who put the charcoal to dum the biryani. The grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Chaitanya, broke the seal of the pot, and this was followed by the general evaluator, Toastmaster Smita, evaluating the entire session, like mixing the biryani and tasting to find out if all ingredients are in the right amount. The meeting came to an end with the presidential closing address, like the biryani being had by all the attendees. The meeting ended on time at sharp 9 p.m. Thank you, Showstoppers, and have a very good evening. Over to you, DTM Anita.
Wow, that was really creative. Didn't expect that from Sridevi. Wonderful, Sridevi. So I think creative writing skills are all getting enhanced day by day. So I am elated to see this kind of a development here. Thank you so much, Sridevi. And we now move on. Let me call upon. Let's begin not on a serious note. Let's begin with some jokes. Okay. And to share the jokes, whom do we have here? I thought we'll have a Santa coming in, but then not a problem. We still have a very senior, but not a serious Santa, or is it Toastmaster Kimji? Toastmaster Kimji, our joke master for the evening. Over to you.
Santa wanted a green background. He is in the jungles of Oman, so you might find an oryx here and an oryx there. Okay, so today's evening, we're going to have some one-liners which I believe are really something that will tickle our funny bones. If it doesn't, you can always find me hiding in the jungle. So if you notice that many Indians do not play football. The reason is wherever they will find a corner, they'll make a shop. When the two cheese met each other and they wanted to compliment each other, they sang to cheese buddy hai mast mast. These days we find that mathematicians are very important, but they are also afraid of negative numbers. You know what? They will stop at nothing to avoid them. You know, we hear a very famous word called break a leg when you go to a play. The real meaning behind it is what I think is that everybody's in the cast. There is a new restaurant that has just opened in Oman, and it's called Karma. There is no menu. Can you believe that? There is no menu because you get what you deserve. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Wonderful. I think today we have on our menu as our karma something very exciting coming in. Now, to take it further, and even before that, thank you so much, Toastmaster Kimji. I think you really deserve a big round of applause for doing that maiden attempt in Showstoppers as a joke master. And we're going to continue this legacy here. Let's move on now to the word master. We've had a word master fixed before, but then we changed. He had to go somewhere. So this is again an impromptu role that we are taking. Somebody has taken, and we have Toastmaster Mahisha on the request of Toastmaster David here, who will be doing giving us the word for the day. Toastmaster Mahisha, are you ready?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, I'm having some technical issues. As much as I'd love to on my camera, it doesn't seem to be working for some reason. So let me just start by sharing my screen. I think it's not enabled for me to share the screen.
I've enabled it now.
Thank you. So I'm Fatima Mahesha, and I'll be your word master of the day for today's meeting. So the word I've chosen is portmanteau. It's pronounced portmanteau. It's a word that refers to other words, words that combine sounds or meanings to form other words. So examples of portmanteaus would be motels or brunch, words that we use on a regular basis. Sentence examples. A podcast is a portmanteau. So a podcast is a combined word of two other words, which is iPod and broadcast. So combining the two, you get podcast. So that's a portmanteau. I've seen a lot of youngsters use podcasters more often these days. Another would be brunch is one of my favorite portmanteau words. Anyone would like to give it a try? The word is portmanteau. As you can see, the portmanteau, it's how you pronounce it.
Can the word Toastmaster be a portmanteau? Considered as a portmanteau?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Yeah, whoever next.
Yeah, I'd like to try if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's you very often hear the word chillax. I think it's a portmanteau, which is chill and relax together. Chillax, is that right?
Wow, great example.
I love that. Anyone else?
Anybody
Okay,
else
I guess.
wants?
I will try. Am I audible? Okay, okay. I strongly believe Toastmasters is a portmanteau that gives us opportunity for both leadership as well as communication skills. Have I attempted rightly? Because I felt like portmanteau is a bag with two.
Yeah, that's a great example, and also
Okay.
yeah. Anyone else? Anyone from the guests?
Could I go for it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Brexit is a portmanteau where Britain is exiting the EU.
Another great example.
Thank you.
Mahisha, could I take a try?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So for portmanteau, I think examples could be smog or mockumentary. Smog is like smoke and fog, and mockumentary is mock and documentary together. Those examples.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Anyone else, or anyone from the guests?
Okay, over to Toastmaster Anita. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Mahisha. I think that was a brave attempt. Let's start to remember this very noble word today and start using it. I mean, whenever we use these portmanteaus, we can remember Mahisha, I guess. Now let's move on to the next character for the day. Now we're going to have something very interesting coming up, which is the speeches of the evening, the prepared speeches. Just before we go in there, since we are not having a Toastmaster of the day because David is going to eat a lot of our time, what we're going to do is I'll just give a quick reference to who is playing what role. We have Toastmaster Mihir silently listening to us and noting down the timing for everyone. He's showing those brave red colors, which means I need to shut my gob. And eventually apparently I've not done that. So I'm going to pay heed to that now. Then we have, we've completed with the word master. We have the R counter, a non-Toastmaster, Sudha, who is attempting a maiden attempt in noting down your filler words like R's, and so on and so forth. We have Sridevi playing the role of table topics master. She's going to ask you all questions and you're going to answer in your own words. It's going to be on your feet thinking. Then we have Seema and Shiva, both of them the evaluators for the prepared speeches. We have our headmaster, our dean of today's meeting, Toastmaster Kimji, who's going to evaluate the entire meeting and the evaluators at the end of the meeting. And we have the project speakers, Toastmaster Dipansh and Toastmaster David. Did I miss out anybody? And yeah, I'm the grammarian. Yeah. So let's begin with Toastmaster Dipansh. Before even he starts, let's have his evaluator, Toastmaster Seema, read out the title and the project guidelines. Over to you, Toastmaster Seema.
Good evening once again. The title for the speech is The Ripple Effect of Giving. It's an evaluation and a feedback speech. The purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The time length would be 5 to 7 minutes. I believe, what would be the red colors, Anita, if you can clarify that? It would be?
5 is green, 6 would be yellow, and 7 would be red.
7 would be red. All right. So these are the times. And over to you, Dipansh. All the very best. The ripple effect of giving. Thank you.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Today I'm going to be talking about the ripple effects of giving. The practice of charity, or voluntary act of giving to help others who are in need as a humanitarian act, is called giving back to the society. Now there are different kinds of charities, which may include health charities, educational charities, and international NGOs. So health charity is basically a group that aims to aid sick people, those who have physical disabilities. This can range from providing funds for medical research, promoting health awareness, to paying accumulated hospital bills to those who have difficulties in raising funds. Coming to educational charities. These non-profit organizations help needy students from different age groups and different backgrounds. Some charities donate funds to different schools, while other charities set up their schools where they educate the students and they educate the guardians of, and they support the guardians of the students. Thirdly, international NGOs. They're charity houses with headquarters in one country, but operating their branches in many different countries. Besides these main categories of charities, there are also categories of charities such as environmental charities, animal charities, and art and cultural charities. I believe that every bit of sharing or giving back to the society helps somebody who is hungry, requires education, shelter, or simply medical attention. If we see, every faith tries to give a guidance on the issue of inequality for the society. For example, as per Hinduism, it is the duty of a person to help someone who requires help, who requires support. It's advocated by the principle of ahimsa. Generosity in giving to others and helping is a natural act of humanity. It is greatly rewarded in Islam. Other religions such as Sikhism, Christianity, and Judaism also strongly advocate giving back to the society. However, I feel that giving back to the society is very personal, and it can be monetary, or it can also be a generosity like sharing your old used clothes, school bags, or even sharing food for those who deserve more. But again, why am I talking about this today? It is because today everyone deserves a better future, and it cannot be done without sharing or giving back to the society. My parents believe then one must give without expecting anything in return. I personally feel that the more you give, the better you feel. It helps you combat stress, anxiety, and also it impacts you positively and gives you a sense of worth. I share a small token on a regular basis to support child education through a UAE-based global philanthropical organization called Dubai Cares. In the end, I would like to quote that one person's charitable donation can positively impact more people's lives than a giver can even think or comprehend. With your donations, charities all around the world are the people who get support, and they get they get food and clean water on a regular basis. One may think that donation might not make a big difference, but small steps eventually can make a tremendous change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dipansh. Now we move on to the next and the most important segment for which we've all been waiting, which is to learn about podcast. Toastmaster David will be teaching us how to create a podcast today. And to evaluate his speech, we have Toastmaster Shiva. Toastmaster Shiva, can you read out the project guidelines and the timing also for the timer's benefit? Can you please unmute? Yes, Shiva.
Yeah. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Toastmaster David is attempting a project called Create a Podcast. The purpose of this project is for the member to be introduced to the skills needed to organize and present a podcast. The second purpose is of the speech is the member to introduce his or her podcast and to present a segment of the podcast. The initial time frame suggested for the introduction of this podcast is 2 to 3 minutes, and then 5 to 10 minutes for the podcast segment itself. So overall, the maximum period of time is 17 minutes. So how to do this, Anita? 14, 15, 16? Or
I've already placed that in the agenda. Timer,
right.
can you please look into the agenda and explain once?
Yeah. On the 3-minute mark, it's a green. On the 10-minute mark, it's yellow. On 13-minute mark, it's red. And total is 14.
Okay. All the best, Toastmaster David.
Toastmaster David, learning podcasting. What was your title?
Yeah, learning to podcast.
Learning to podcast. Toastmaster David, over to you.
Okay. Just a minute, guys. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
I think it's getting full screen. All right, then. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Learning to Podcast, venturing into the world of podcasts by TM David Isaac. Okay, so that's how I would usually start a podcast. So because this is an episode about learning to podcast, I thought, you know what would be most appropriate if we use how I would normally start a podcast with. So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, respected guests. Welcome to my segment on learning to podcast and how we, the entire audience, all 20 of you, will be venturing into my version of this wonderful, wonderful platform. So, why are we here? What is the purpose? What are we doing? Well, we're here to learn what is a podcast, to understand how you, the audience, can work to build your own podcast. And lastly, to take away elements from my story with We Impact and conjure up your own. Because let me tell you guys, podcasting is a tool which, not many people are very familiar with. Not many people have tapped into that potential. And I think through COVID, we understood how important social media can be and how important it is to connect with people, because everyone has different purposes on podcasts or social media or YouTube, Instagram, different means of platform. And today we're choosing the one that I think is most essential. Now, moving to the next part. Yeah. Now, how do we do it? What do we do to start with a podcast? We have to start with an idea or a topic. 20 of you, all 20 of you, must have had a random idea that you thought was amazing. And you think, people would love to hear this. You would want to understand, is there something relevant that, I can share? It could be a skill you have. Like our Mihir, he's doing his exams on CA. That's something we're not that familiar with, but he can share his insights. People would want to listen to that. Or my friend and my contestant, my judge, who's the guest over here, Anita, she's doing architecture. That is something interactive that we are not that familiar. I'm a business student. I don't know the finer details, but that's a topic you can select to create your own idea, to create your own identity. The next step is understanding who you would want to target. More than anything, in any platform across social media or across the world or the internet, you could say, is who are your audiences? Who do you think would want to hear out and listen to you? Are you going to be interested in learning about students? Do you think kids in school would be more interested? Do you think kids just joining college? Or do you think kids in college, outside college, in their undergrad or their final years, or in their postgrad? Who are your audiences? Who do you want to capture hearts with? Who do you want to inform? Because again, the main 4 points about today's session is informing, entertaining, inspiring, and educating. So I'm going to be focusing on educating as the most part, because today we're talking about something I love, that is podcasting. Nextly, you'll have to understand, how will your podcast work? How will it be spread across to the audience? How will it grow? How will we expand it so that everywhere on the internet you can find it? The first name you search on Google is going to be your podcast. And the last part is, who are your speakers? How will you get your speakers? Who do you want as your guest? Do you want to be a solo podcaster, or do you want to be one who interviews people as a talk show host? Because the most beneficial thing I've realized after getting on a podcast scene is I can also call myself a talk show host, like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Conan O'Brien, or Oprah, some of my idols over there. The essentials to starting a podcast, or according to me, what is most important is a script. You need to research. Research is the most essential tool for any form of activity or skill, especially for podcasting, because you need to have the most amount of information on your segment. Because if you're having a guest on the show, you would want to know about them. You would want to know what they would be talking about. You want to know their skills, their achievements. Because if you don't, on stage or on whatever device you're on, you would be wondering, am I missing out information? And that sort of can be detrimental to the audience as well and to the speaker you've invited to on the show. Because if you're going to invite someone, you need to understand that they're here, they're spending their time, and they want to be appreciative of you. A platform to host. Now, the more traditional ways of podcasting is two people sit across in a room or a studio. But since COVID times, we weren't allowed to do that. But podcasts have shot up. Why is that? The availability of Zoom or Google Meet. Zoom is the best platform where you can accomplish or reach out to anyone or connect to anyone across the world. All you have to do is send them a link. Like we're having this meeting right now. We have people from India, we have people from Canada, we have people from Pakistan. And we're all wondering, how is that possible? All by a simple click of a link. And that can be the same thing you can use for your abilities. Now, what's next? Finding a server. Now, a server, you could say like Sounder FM, is where you upload your podcast so that it can reach to different platforms like Google Podcast or Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, Spotify, etc. Now, because once you have your server or once you have your own set platform where you can upload items consistently or episodes consistently, you can grow from there. If people ask you where is your software or where software do you use, the more credible ones sort of give you a bit more favorite and more credibility, such as Sounder. Sounder FM is a wonderful tool you can use to grow your platform. Now, like I did mention in the previous slide, people, who are your speakers? Who are you going to get? Well, for We Impact, usually the best platforms on the planet are LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, great tools and network. And because of COVID, you understand, many people are willing to share their stories. We found a community, a small but deeply interesting community of individuals who have so much to share, so much to give, so much to inform, so much to educate, so much to inspire, and so definitely to entertain as well. And along with Toastmasters, it's a great networking tool. Podcasting also helps you network. Podcasting helps you reach out to other people who you would not want to reach out to initially, or you would not think of reach outing to. And you know what is the next and the fifth and most important tool for me, for any podcast to succeed, is consistency. You would need to be consistent. You would need to be consistent in your uploads. You would need to be consistent in your research to ensure your quality doesn't drop. You can upload 10, 15 episodes in a day, or in a week, in a month, in a year. But if they're not of high quality, or if they're not giving any meaning for the audience, if it's a haphazard attempt, you won't get it. You won't fit into that stride. By being consistent with your uploads, or by being consistent with what you do, you can grow your platform into something people haven't heard of, something unique. And when you promote yourself outside, you've built a brand. That's what We Impact has done. You build a brand of good quality content. You build a brand of good quality information. You build a brand of entertainment to the audience. And that can reach out to a huge number of people. Moving on. The We Impact Show. This is my show. This is a show looking to connect the youth of today, share their stories on how they're making an impact. So for me, it started on the 6th of September 2020. The first episode was launched. And my first guest was Gokul Rajendran. He was a youth advocate in India, showcasing his skills in understanding how Ayurvedic medicine is the most important tool. He is a med student at Kerala University who's also pursuing CA. So I was just like, that's entertaining. And we connected on Goodwall, another platform which is a great tool to connect. So far, there are 28 different stories on my channel. 28 different speakers who've come across and showcase their ability, showcase their talents, showcase their story. because that's the most important thing about We Impact. We want to connect the youth. The guests include artists, CEOs, youth advocates, authors, speakers, content creators, fashion designers, etc. Because we realize everyone has a niche, everyone has a talent, everyone can bring about change. So that's what we as an audience should understand. That's what we as content creators or podcast hosts or potential podcast hosts should look to understand. How can we target that niche? And this is what We Impact brought up to me. I think the youth is the future of tomorrow, and I want their stories to be showcased to the world. So whoever has an inspiring story, regardless if you have a huge following on Instagram or on Facebook or on LinkedIn or not, if you have an inspiring story, I want you on my show. If you are making a change, you need to be on my show because your talents, your skills, your story needs to be shared across multiple platforms. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you guys a snippet from the latest episode, which just launched last week. So Craig and Ian Fernandez are my bosses and the people I work under. They've started Lock and Stock. So on the side over there, you can see this is how an introduction or a description is made for an episode so that the audience, such as yourself, can get information on who is being interviewed. What did they do? What did they impact? So I do like this. This is the start of the session also. I go in my professional podcasting voice. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the We Impact Show. Today, we're joined by Craig and Ian Fernandez, the father-son duo looking to create change with their award-winning organization, Lock and Stock. Did you know they were awarded Future Star Award at the 2019 Arabian Business Awards and were recognized with the Disruption of the Year Award at the Capital Gulf Awards 2020 as well. Their story started with the aim to curb phone addiction, but now they've grown to help students realize their dream of attending their ideal university. How cool is that? Locking your phone, getting on a scholarship? How cool is that? That's such a unique idea. Tune in for the 5th episode and see you guys soon. Now, I will just share my sound and I think you guys can all hear the episode. So,
CEO as dedicated, as hardworking. Craig is the prime example over there. He puts his life, blood, everything into Lock and Stock, and that is something we should really admire. So, Mr. Ian, Craig, welcome aboard the We Impact Show, which is mainly used to connect the youth. So, I think the first thing people would like to know is how did Lock and Stock start? So, anyone of you, could you give us the origin story, Craig?
Dad, you want me to take this?
No, go ahead.
So it's actually very interesting, right? I was in university when I got the idea for Lock and Stock, and it actually involved the both of us because one fine day I happened to go to an econ class. There were maybe 25, 30 odd students in that class, and I was one of those students. And my dad actually WhatsApped me. I think I was in the US to study, so I think he was saying like good night or something like that. Time difference, 9-hour time difference. But he WhatsApped me, and I responded to him almost instantly. To which he goes, aren't you supposed to be in class? Why are you on your phone? What are you doing? And I was like, yeah, but like nobody's really paying attention. And he was like, I wonder how many students are just like you, just whiling away their time, not really paying attention, not really concentrating or focusing. And in that moment, I looked up and just took like a recon of the class. And out of the 25, 30 odd students in class, I kid you not, I think all of them were either on a phone or a tablet or a laptop. Nobody's looking up, nobody's doing anything. The poor professor is just talking and talking and talking, but nobody's paying attention. And I think in that moment, just the light bulb went off. And it was like, wow, like this might actually be a problem. And that was the day Lock and Stock was born, basically.
Wow. And Mr. Ian, how is your recount of all the events?
Yeah, so if I have to just add one more thing on that, I think it was not the WhatsApp, but it was, thanks to Skype in those days, that time Skype was not blocked. So Skype was open, so we could chat anytime. So I think it was more the Skype when I was on my iPad and I saw Craig online on Skype and I just clicked that, and then the guy just responds back again to it. And I'm wondering what, so I looked at the time and I said, oh, wow, this is like a study time. So what's he doing up here? And yeah, we ended up chatting, and then that's how. And then he said, you know what, I think there is a problem over here, and that's what we decided, that once he gets
David,
back
time
to
up.
his room, and then we said we'll have a chat about it and see, like, you know, what can we do about this issue that's actually, because you're from a parent's
David,
point
sorry
of
to
view,
intervene.
you are spending that money for the education, okay, and then your kids on the phone and you know, not paying attention in class, so it kind of like hits you a bit. But then
Time up, time up.
All right, miss. I think, yeah, I think we're done.
that
Yeah, you finished?
You could provide the link for everyone to, you could provide the link to your podcast.
Yes. So the last part of the segment is you finish making your podcast. Now what do? You can create your own website using what I use, which is wave.com, where you have access to Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and your server in one straight access. You can look for topics that will inspire, inform, educate, and entertain the audience. That's the key message you should be taking from this session. Those are the key elements of not only Toastmasters, but for anything you guys do in relating to public speaking or raising awareness. You do that, you got yourself a strong podcast. You got yourself a strong start in the world of podcasts. So thank you, everyone. See you soon. I hope you guys have a good one. See you next time. Closing off, David Isaac.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster David. That indeed was a lot of information in a very stipulated timing, but you managed it very well. And yes, I think I am really pepped up to start my own podcasting stream very soon. And I think you're going to be my mentor. Yeah.
that really means a lot, Miss Anita. That really,
Thank
really
you.
does a
Thank
lot.
you. Yep. Mihir, can we have the timers report?
Yeah. The first speech by TM Dipansh was 4 minutes and 16 seconds long. And the second speech of TM David was 17 minutes and 20 minutes long.
Yeah, we're not going in for voting today.
Okay.
So it's fine, but then, yeah, I think the punch it was not long, it was short. I could say, I mean, yeah, the other way around, and David went a little long, yeah. Thank you so much, Mihir. Now we move on to the next very, very interesting segment. Why do I call it interesting? Because it's going to be very interactive. All the people who switched off their videos are going to be now active because our table topics master is going to make them open their mouth and talk, not to eat, but to talk. So over to you, Toastmaster Sridevi. So, Sridevi is our club secretary and she's very exuberantly prepared some interesting topics, even I am unaware of. So over to you, Toastmaster Sridevi. You can explain to them the role and then start off.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, DTM Anita. Ma'am, can I have the sharing rights?
It's there, it's on.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters. I'm the table topic master for the day. Table topics in Toastmasters is a way of teaching impromptu speaking skills, and it's a perfect way to inject serious fun into a club meeting. Are you ready for some fun topics? All you need to choose is a number from 1 to 10 and speak on the corresponding topic for 2 minutes. Can I have the first volunteer? Anyone?
Yes, you can choose.
Toastmaster Dipansh?
Yeah, I hope the timing has been explained.
Yeah. Timer, Toastmaster Mihir, could you explain the timing?
Yeah.
Like
For
2
each
minutes?
of the participant would get 2 minutes, 2 minutes to speak. On the 1 minute mark, I'll put the green color. On 1.5 minutes, I'll put the yellow color. And on 2 minutes mark, I'll put the red color.
I hope that's clear to everyone. Shall we start?
Yeah.
Toastmaster Deepan, could you choose one of the numbers?
9.
Yeah. What was the worst prank or the best prank you have played on someone?
Well,
what is the best or the worst prank you have played on someone? Toastmaster Deepansh.
well, yeah, not exactly a prank, but since we just had Halloween yesterday, I would like to recall my high school days. So back in grade 11, I had gone out for trick or treat with my friends in gardens, Jabal Ali. And instead of doing trick or treat, we got into egging. So what is egging? Egging is basically throwing eggs on houses and cars. Yeah, and what we were doing was we were playing around and we were hiding behind bushes. And when we see a car, we were throwing eggs at the car. In the end, when we were about to wind up, we were leaving and one of my friends got caught with the thing. And even though he got caught, but he somehow left home. So the parents of that kid were complaining, and we just called my friend back saying that we are planning to go out somewhere, so why don't you join us? And once we called him, he joined us, and that's when we just called those uncle and auntie up, and he got busted over there.
Wow, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Shall we go for the next volunteer? Anyone?
Better you call the names.
Yeah, of course. Toastmaster Seema, are you there?
Yes, Sridevi, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, please choose a number.
6.
Yeah, of course. Toastmaster Seema, one favorite thing you love to do as a child and would still love to do as an adult. One favorite thing you love to do as a child and would still love to do as an adult. Toastmaster Seema.
Good evening, everyone, once again. If given a chance, I would still love to go back to my childhood. It's such a carefree life that you have. These days, when exams are on, my son keeps saying, oh my God, exams are on. I don't want to study. I want to be an adult. I tell him, you just need to study and that's it. You're over. All you need to do is just study and give your exams and you're done. But once you become an adult, there are a lot of things that stops you from doing a lot of things that you probably would have done as a child. And you always think, what would others think? Should we be doing this? Is it right to do it? Now you're a grown up. But as a child, you do anything, it's just that probably you just get a punishment and that's it, you walk out of it. I was a quite naughty child. And I used to play pranks and all that and tease people and all that I used to do. But now whenever I do something, I'm very conscious. Would I be hurting someone? Should I be doing something? Is it appropriate to do it? So the childhood days are always fun-loving and you're carefree and you can just do whatever you want. No one is going to judge you. Everyone would just excuse you and say that, okay, you're a child, you're forgiven for it. But as an adult, you need to be more composed, more calm. You need to think what others would say. So yes, I would just say I would really love to go back to my childhood days and enjoy those school days and even my college days, definitely. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Sridevi.
Thank you so much.
Can I add on to this?
Sure.
I do it even today. As soon as it starts raining and if there is a heavy rain, there is a small stream which forms outside our gate. So me and my son quickly start making paper boats, the thicker ones, and I ensure that he is well covered with the raincoat. We quickly run out with number of boats and we start leaving the boats down to the stream. And my son literally runs to the end of the road just to see whether the boat is drowned or whether the boat is still sailing. That is something which I was doing it when I was in my childhood days. In near our home, we were a bunch of kids who are doing this. That is something which I enjoy doing it even today.
Wow, Sudha. Yeah. Would you like
We get super excited actually. We start jumping around in the home. It's raining. Let's start making boat. So thank you for the question.
Yeah, okay. Any other volunteer? Yes, Toastmaster David. Which number would you choose?
Let's say 7. 7 looks like.
Toastmaster David, how did you meet your best friend? How did you meet your best friend, Toastmaster David?
Okay, I think one of my best friends is right in this call also.
Wow.
Ishmael is there. So how did we meet? Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome to the questions. How did I meet my best friend? Well, it was during COVID, like right before COVID. We were having a small get together. It was she came to the house. She was my brother's guest, and we just again, my brother and I have a difference of 1.5 years, but in school it's 2 years, so we don't usually interact with our friends. But I think we were talking about some books. Books was a topic on top, and I said I like Twilight, and I've read Cassandra Clare or like old movies, and then Ishmael popped up and said, I like that too. Which old movie is your favorite? I said, I like Roman Holiday. She was like, I like that too. And then we just started talking. We were just talking and talking about old movies, Bollywood movies, Korean movies also. And then COVID happened and we couldn't meet because obviously COVID, everything was in lockdown. But we went out for shawarma when the restrictions went down and we came. And we thought it would be awkward because we only met once and the rest of it was just on chat. And then we just started talking normally. You were like, okay, it doesn't really matter that much actually. So we came on board, we had shawarma, and then I think a year and a half later, almost 2 years later, we are still best friends over here. And it's so entertaining how a topic about Twilight, Cassandra Clare, and Roman Holiday brought about me meeting one of my best friends. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Sridevi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster David. Any guest would like to attempt? Nishchita?
Number 2.
Number 2. Yes, qualities you want in your partner. Qualities you want in your partner. Ms.
Hello,
Nishita.
everyone. My name is Nischita.
Yeah.
I'm married, so
it's okay. You can still attempt.
qualities I would prefer is the understanding. Sorry, I'm not good at talking.
It's okay. You can still try. Any other quality?
Understanding, caring.
Yeah.
That's all.
You can talk about anything else, Nishrita, if you're not clear about this.
If you want any other topic,
you can just talk about your childhood or.
Yeah, of course.
I'll just try to talk in the next meeting. I'm a bit nervous.
Ask her another question.
Yeah. Would you like to pick another question?
I'm a bit nervous. I don't know. Yeah. 3.
Okay. Should spouses care about each other more than their children? Should spouses care about each other more than their children?
I feel, yes, they need to care each other more than the children.
Okay, good.
That's all. Sorry, I don't know what to add.
Okay, yeah. Anyone else would like to attempt?
Toastmaster Kimji, Shiva, Toastmaster Kimji.
Yeah, okay. Okay, ready. Which are the numbers left which are chosen from, Sridevi?
Yeah, well, 2 and 3, 9, 6, 7 have been taken.
Okay, we'll go for the number 1, your top topic. Let's have a look at that one.
Yeah. Yes. Who was your childhood actor or actress crush?
I guess as a child, I would say that the understanding of a beautiful actress and having a crush on it started at the age of 13. That's when I became a teenager, and that's when appreciation towards fondness grew beyond the love for the teachers. So my favorite actress who I really had a crush on was Hema Malini. The dream girl, really amazing looks, amazing dancing abilities, her comic appearances on screen, her romance with her co-stars. I think she really exuded some beautiful talents in a woman, and really that was something which was very appealing. She always maintained a very nice demeanor. She always was versatile. And I saw in her a goddess who could really be charming and who can be fascinated upon. When I used to read about the Apsaras in the comics books of Amar Chitrakatha, the first Apsara that really came in front of my eyes was Hema Malini. I think she really, it really made me feel sad when I really learned that she was a married woman very shortly after I got a crush on her. So I think those dreams were shattered. But yes, I think even today, I find that she has maintained herself so well. I think she looks young, she looks energetic, she has got all the personas, and she has been a loving mother, a very humble person, nice traits, looking after her husband, even though she is the second wife of she has brought up her daughters so elegantly, and her husband loves her so much. So I guess, yeah, I think I made the right choice as a crush. Hema Malini it is, and she shall be the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful women. Over to you, table topic one.
Thank you so much, Kimji. Anyone else?
Let the timer also speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Mihir. Toastmaster Mihir, which number would it?
Which all are left? I think 5 or 6. 5 is done.
Left, 10 is left, 5 is left. 4 is left.
4.
Okay. What is the one thing you would change about yourself? What is the one thing you would change about yourself, Toastmaster Mihir?
If there would be one thing that I'd like to change about myself, would be if I could get a little more, not exact. I mean, me as a person, I'm quite an introvert, and I don't talk to a lot of people, and I just stay with myself, get my work done, and finish my studies, get my assignments done, have my work done at the office, and enjoy myself. And when I'm at home, I study and get my work, or just watch a few sports and all other things. I think it would be really great for me as a person to maybe, kind of socialize more with my friends or colleagues and other things of that sort. So probably I can try to inculcate that habit that I can go out and enjoy more often than I usually do. But one thing is that as at the moment I'm doing my chartered accountancy course, so it inherently requires me to stay at home and spend long hours at home. So maybe I just get to relax and I just stay in my zone, just in my comfort zone. So probably that's one thing that I'd like to change about myself in the future, probably once I'm done with my course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mahir. Anyone else wants to take up? How about time? Toastmaster Mahir, is there time for another speaker?
No, I think we can go ahead.
We can still have another speaker?
No. I think all the time for this session is done.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for the session. Over to you, DTM Anita.
Thank you so much. I think that was really interesting, and we had everyone to talk a few words, at least attempt to say a few words. Thank you so much, Sridevi. We now move on to the next segment, and the next segment is now a little critical segment, right? So what we will do is, I'm not the person for it. I'm going to hand over the stage to, even before that, let's have the timers report, Toastmaster Mahir, of all the table topic speakers.
Yeah, so the first table topic speaker was TM Dipansh. He took 1 minute 20 seconds, so he was within the time and he was qualified. Second speaker, TM Seema, took 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is within time, and which has qualified. Third speaker, TM David, took 1 minute and 50 seconds, which is within time and has qualified. Our guest speaker, Nischita, took 30 seconds for her topic. TM Chaitanya Kimji has taken 2 minutes and 1 second. And I myself took 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's all for the time.
Can you just quickly recap? It was Dipansh. After Dipansh, it was Seema.
Dipansh, 1 minute 20 seconds, qualified. Then TM Seema, yes. TM David, yes. TM Kimji, 2 minutes exact, and me, 1 minute 20 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, now we move on to the evaluation segment, and to take this further, we have none other than the veteran Toastmaster, who is a big and hard, fast fan of Hema Malini. I'm going to reveal this to Dharam Paji very soon. Before you get into danger, better you finish your evaluation segment, Toastmaster Kimji. Is Rita ji next to you? Otherwise, we can talk to her also.
I'm sure I will send you her WhatsApp number and you can have a chat with her. But she'll have a different name up her sleeve.
Absolutely, obviously.
Malini, so that will be news to her.
Perfect. Over to you, Kimji ji.
Thank you very much. And for this segment, my tag team members who are part of my team, I would like to first call upon Madam Toastmaster Seema, who is the evaluator for the speech of Toastmaster Mathur, a homemaker who is a mother of a to-be teenager named Akshaj Anup. I think she is very passionate about books and she's very passionate about dancing. And I really feel those are two wonderful features in her. Let us now welcome on stage Madam Toastmaster Seema.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kimji, for this wonderful introduction. Good evening to everyone once again. I'm evaluating Toastmaster Dipansh. He's attempted his evaluation and feedback, which is his first speech. Well, Toastmaster Dipansh, let me congratulate you on this attempt of your evaluation and feedback speech. Now, the topic that you have chosen is charity, giving. And I'm someone who always believes charity begins from home, and it is always a need of the hour. Every individual on this planet should be giving and should have the heart to give and help others in all possible way. The topic that you have chosen is extremely informative and A very interesting topic that is something that is very much relatable to everyone. And as I said, it is something that all of us must incorporate in our life. You walked us through the different types of charity first. And then while explaining, you also shared what your thoughts exactly were on charity. And also those few little things, what you feel you could do to serve the country or to serve the world in all possible way that you can do, that you've shared that as well. And the language in which that you spoke was clear, understood, it was very simple. And being the first speech after your icebreaker speech, it is definitely commendable on your attempt of delivering the speech. I could see that you were quite comfortable delivering the speech. However, to improve yourself, and when you give your next, the second speech on this evaluation and feedback, what I would love to see would be a little more of enthusiasm, a little more of passion while you deliver the speech, and also see if you can include more of physical gestures. That will become a little more of interactive, and this is charity, right? So you can bring a little bit of emotion as well into it, so that you can capture the audience attention a little more. And also what I would recommend is, since again is this a charity, is what somewhere you can go back into your childhood or somewhere in the past and see what exactly, what simple act of charity or kindness is what someone has did to you that has impacted in your life. You can probably bring a small personal story that can actually take this speech onto a higher level. And these are the few challenges that I would actually recommend you to do. And the timing also, as it was noted, it is 4 minutes and 16 seconds, and we have a speech of 5 minutes. See if you can, it is not necessary if you're not able to reach till 7, it's fine. But at least if you can reach the minimum time limit of 5 minutes, that would be something that you could challenge yourself. With all this, I hope you can just keep into mind all the challenges and these recommendations that I have given to you. And all the best to you for your future projects and the speeches. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster Seema. Now I would like to call upon the stage Toastmasters Siva Mamedi. Did I get the pronunciation right? I hope. And
Yes.
he is a Toastmaster for 4 years. Wonderful. A tax supervisor at Exterran, and his hobbies are learning new things. Mind you, that's so wonderful, learning new things. I also like the fact that he spends some time watching Netflix, so loves the world of entertainment. What an entertaining person. Let us welcome on stage to evaluate the speech, Toastmaster Shiva Mamedi.
Thank you very much for such introduction, Toastmaster Chaitanya. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and special good evening to my target speaker, Toastmaster David. Toastmaster David, he has chosen a topic which is quite relevant in today's scenario, which is a podcast. Because of COVID or whatever, podcasts have become so popular. And the podcast is really a challenging topic because there we can only hear the voice of the people. It's not a visual thing. So podcasts are to be extremely good, then only the audience can get engaging because we can only hear the voice. But I was always thinking how to create the podcast and how to get marketing of a podcast, how everyone can see. Today, Toastmaster David, he really did a great job of explaining how we can create a podcast and why we have to create a podcast and what are the essentials, basically the tools that we need to create a podcast. And he also explained about his own website and how to finally we can create our own website, or we can also upload in different platforms. So I believe he covered from the basics until the final marketing area of a podcast, how we can take it to the audience. These segments were really well done. Where I felt really good is, this is throughout the speech, it is only a presentation. So engaging audience will become more difficult, but I felt like because of your voice, exceptional passion for this podcast, we really felt like glowing. Sometimes I thought I'm deviating, but because of your tone and your passion, I got connected. You have excellent speaking skills, which is really a great source for you to create a podcast. That is one of your asset. I strongly believe so. And you have the flair of engaging audience. These two are really your key points. But in terms of today's podcast, what I felt is the micronutrient that was missing is because here we are all expecting a specimen copy of your podcast. You introduced something which is not a podcast kind of thing. You asked both of them to come onto the dais and give some speech. But that could also have been a podcast thing. You could have given a 2 to 3 minutes podcast. Please put your hands to welcome that gentleman, Toastmaster. Okay, I forgot his name, Ian, and his son. You could have welcomed them, both of them, within your podcast, and you could have asked them a question, and they would have answered it. It could have been a brief thing as well. That's fine, but we will be knowing from the beginning until they give answer to that question. We will know. Okay, this is how podcast is going to work. But in today's podcast, what we saw is only them talking. But in that podcast, you are not there. If you were there and introduced and started asking them the questions and they answered one of the question and completed the whole scenario, we would have got a wonderful impression. Okay, that's the complete podcast. Okay, it has to be like this. So I think apart from that micronutrient small thing message, I completely believe that you cover the whole thing. We know exactly now how to create a podcast. I got the feel of creating a podcast. Thank you very much, Toastmaster David. I will try it on my own. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Shiva. And now I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster whom I admire for a very, very long time. She is a great motivator. She is one person whom I feel really embarks on a mission and completes it thoroughly. She decides something and she makes it happen. Her hobbies are reading, and I believe that I think she exudes a lot of fun. Let us now welcome on stage as Grammarian of the Day, DTM Anita Naidu.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kimji. And I am humbled that a person like you, a person, such an experienced person who knows what he is doing every minute of his life. He is a fun lover, and I really admire the way he goes about having fun in his life, enjoying every moment. I think that is something which we have to learn from him. And thank you so much for all that you have introduced about me. Yes, today I think we've not had a lot of interaction. Nevertheless, there's been, maybe Sudha will have a lot of our counter number, but then for me, I've noticed that by the time I started to note down words which I've really liked, it was a little too late. I only started at the project speeches part. And I love the word ripple effect. It's a very positive term. Then we had the word of the day also, which is very noble, very new. But the only thing that I thought was it cannot be used in your sentences. So we need to be bringing in words which we can use throughout. Probably an adjective or a verb that can be executed here. But nevertheless, we still learned the term. And advocated, humanitarian, these are the words, persona, missing a micronutrient. A word which is a science word, science related word, if you could still bring in here into your speeches and enhance your speech quality, nothing better than that. So with that, I think this is what I have seen. Specifically, there have been certain things which needed some area, but I think that's because of the flow or the pace at which they were talking, that they just missed out to put the vocab in place. So I think with that benefit of doubt, I'm just going to wind it up here. Over to you, Toastmaster Kimji.
Thank you very much. I think the only person who would really be proud of today is your son. I think he would feel so happy that his mother has done a non-strict role in such a beautiful manner. I really appreciate that. Now let us welcome on stage a non-Toastmaster. Now I believe that with these qualities, I think she is a better Toastmaster than many of us sitting out here. Life skills trainer from Singapore University, and person who is a content writer, a story writer, and national level motivational talker. My God, I think it is an honor and pleasure to welcome on stage, doing a very junior role, I would say, of that of an R-counter, but it is very important for us speakers. So please present your R-counter report, Madam Sudha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It really means a lot. I've just tried to keep myself in a way that I can work and improve on myself at every stage of my life, and as well as on the professional front. I'm a little confused with the counter. Should I speak about the presenters, David and the Panch, or should I speak about the topic, table topic speakers also?
Everyone.
Okay. When I initially started public speaking, my mentors used to always tell me that if you have a clarity of thought, if you have a clarity of what you are speaking, the ahs and ums and like and that and this will stop. So where, the formation of sentences is already in your mind and the picture is in front of you. So you're just narrating that. So when I saw the scripted ones, the ahs and ums are less. In fact, but when there is a natural flow in the table topics, I could see and on all these things. Why? Because it was instant. The scripted ones, you would have done your homework well. You would have planned and sat and planned your topics way beyond 2 to 3 days or a week before. But when it is on the spot, when the mic is with you, so that is where the challenge begins. So what you speak, what is the subject you're speaking about, what is the information you have that you have to deliver in front of the audience. So the ahs and ums will become the filler words there, because you won't be able to recall the subject what you're speaking about, the topic what you're speaking about instantly. So that connection, that connectivity is all that matters. So today's topic, when it came to the table topics, I could see a lot of ahs and ums. Of course, even I used, because I had to, recollect the story and reframe it instantly. So that ahs and ums became a filler word for me too, because it took for about 1 or 2 seconds. So when it came to the scripted ones, you guys are already well prepared, and you also know that our counter is there. So your conscious mind will ensure that, you're focused, you're concentrating on what you're saying. So I would always suggest the speakers or the members to always prepare yourself well for the instant topics. So that is where is your challenge. That is where you have to raise your level of speaking. That is where your confidence, your problem solving, your control of voice, your emotions, everything matters. So when you're facing the audience live, rather than speaking about the scripted ones. Yes, I think with this I'll end.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a very descriptive feedback on our counter. We actually make it a little simple by making a count of the ahs and the v's users. And I think you gave us a little bit of in-depth knowledge about how to avoid them. And that was also very nice, I think, in its full context. So thank you very much, ma'am, for that. So now coming to the overall evaluation of today's session, the 49th session, the session before the Golden Jubilee, as our acting president said. Well, it started with a beautiful question from the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms was so wonderful in drawing our attention that today is 1st of November. And with many guesses, and I had also Aishwarya Rai's birthday in mind, I actually came to know that it is just 2 months away from the end of 2021. Now, people count it as good fortune in terms of seeing a year through, which is very tough in these times. But then there are people who say, we have unfulfilled things to be done. And that's what she reminded us. She said, if you have anything unfulfilled, please finish it in this 2 months before the year goes by and you're looking at 2022. Wonderful. The club mission read out with pomp and aplomb. I think she did a fantastic job. Now let's move to our acting president, who has been holding a lot of hats, wearing a lot of hats, and she really amazes me. She really talked about how she's going to prepare us for our Golden Jubilee celebration, what a Toastmasters meeting is all about and how it should happen, the awards that are up for grabs, the position and status of the club, the world's details about pathways, and the debate contest in which our fellow Toastmasters of this Showstoppers Club have taken part in. What a beautiful way to really welcome everybody, because everybody feels proud and excited, and the guests who come to the session are filled with knowledge about what Toastmasters is. I think that was wonderful. The word master, impromptu, I think she has done a fantastic job, Toastmaster Maisha, in introducing a mix of words. And to be honest, I didn't know that it is called portmanteau. I think that was a big learning for me. And I think even though it is not easy to use these words, it is definitely an increase in knowledge in the lexicon of our journey. Now let's talk about the session in which there was a joke master who tried to tickle the bones with some one-liners. I think he has brought about some tweaks of smiles on the faces of some people, but I think he could have done a better job and been well prepared for that. Now let's move to the evaluator of the speech, Madam Toastmaster Seema. I think you have done a fantastic job in praising the choice of the topic, the comfort in which he delivered the speech, the language being clear. I think that was fantastic. You said that you wanted to see a bit of enthusiasm from physical gestures and emotions and a personal example of charity. I think that was very good in the suggestion. Now, a little bit of suggestion for you when you do evaluation. Please note that you focused a lot on the contents initially about charity, about his speech and what he was trying to say. Now we heard his speech. We wanted to know what you felt about the speech. So avoid talking about the contents of the speech. And I think your own personal opinion about charity could have been avoided as well. So these are the two areas, but I think you are a great evaluator and focus on good evaluations in the future, and you will be a champion for our club. Toastmaster Siva Mamedi, what can I say? I think like Madam Toastmaster Seema, you praised the topic. You expressed the fact that it was challenging for Toastmaster David to do that because I mean, podcasting is more on verbal skills and rather than the visual skills. So that was really done well. You explained that how you learned from it and how the creation of the own website motivated you to actually form a podcast. From the basics to the marketing, you really shone well and you were impressed by the voice. That was fantastic. Your recommendations on connect and engage the audience was well taken by the speaker, I'm sure. And the presence of David himself in the podcast, I'm not sure whether his voice was there or not because the accent was very similar. The person whom I was interviewing had a very similar accent to David, so I didn't really catch that fact. You could have, Toastmaster Siva, highlighted the fact that Toastmaster David did not take the entire speech time into consideration and probably lost track of the speech time while he was delivering his speech. So he had to be interrupted while he was giving his speech, that he is crossing a lot of time factors. And also the link, which was also reminded by Madam Toastmaster Anita, that there was a link missing to his podcast. I think that could be a part of your speech. So these are the feedbacks that I am giving in terms of the role players today. I think it's great to be part of this session, and I always enjoy being part of the journey as far as Showstoppers Club, and looking forward to the Golden Jubilee. Over to Madam Toastmaster Anita.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause to Toastmaster Kimji for giving us such a detailed review about our 49th meeting. Yes, it's very, very important for us to reiterate 49 because it's not been an easy journey for the Showstoppers to reach this milestone, which is going to be our next meeting. And probably we're going to ask Toastmaster Chaitanya to do a dance on Hema Malini's song, For All That You Know, with Rita ji. So you never know what's expected. It's going to be an impromptu celebration topics, right? So there's a lot. We'll have to plan it out with all the members in our presence. So we should make it memorable. We should be calling in the district people also into this. With that, yes, officially I could not launch the table topics poll because somebody has logged in with it. I don't know if it is Shiva. I tried to put him on chat, but if he's driving, then it's not possible. So unfortunately...
Madam Anita, can I interrupt you here? Since you brought about the topic of in my entire evaluation, I did not mention Madam Toastmaster Sri Devi as the table topic master. I think she brought about wonderful table topics that really brought out the best in the speakers. I think it was so versatile, and it expressed, allowed people to express themselves. And I think nobody had the fear of speaking. Nishita, just a word for you. I think you had a best chance of telling your husband what you expected from him. And this recording would have been on YouTube forever. So he could have heard you say it. So this was your time to really rock as far as that is concerned. But I think it was a brave attempt. Thank you very much for coming to this session. Sorry to interrupt, Madam Toastmaster Anita. Thank you.
Not at all, not at all. I mean, anything that you say is not an interruption at all. It's a lot of value add to the session. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kimji. And yes, we do come to the end of this meeting. Unfortunately, I'm not able to open the poll. That's what I was trying to mention here. Nevertheless, each of you who've attempted to speak and to speak for quite some time, and for Nishchita also, who attempted to break the ice, each of you, big round of applause. Nishchita, would you want to say something before I call it a day? I just want to hear from the guests also.
Yes, please. I really enjoyed listening to you all talking or presenting confidently and very frequently. I think I'll get a lot to learn from this team. I'm very shy. I don't talk much. When it comes to work, I just go do my work and come back. My socializing skill and communication skill is zero. That's all I want to say.
No, your socializing skills are good.
May I add something here? Okay, Nishita, this is one of the best platforms to improve your your communication skills. I think you're a leader of sorts because you are hardworking and your focus on work is absolutely there. But I don't see any shyness and stammering in your voice. I used to stammer a lot before I became a speaker. Today, I'm boisterous right now and I keep talking a lot. But let me tell you one thing, I wasn't even half as confident as what you spoke. So trust me, join Toastmasters and you'll really benefit from this. I promise you that.
Thank you. I think this will be my best decision to join the Toastmasters, this team.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's the most economic way of going about. It's not about just communication. It's about communicating in the right manner and knowing when to communicate. That's important. We don't communicate at all thinking that we're not a part of this discussion, so let's not. But I still remember, I don't know with whom I was talking the other day. I remember Competition Success Review. That was a book which used to come good old days when you were preparing for prelims of civil services. And there used to be a group discussion page where the people, there is one person who starts off the communication. Everything is in text though. There's one person who will start the group discussion and that person is known as the initiator. So there'll be a group of 10 people, out of which some member number 5 or GD number, it's called GD1, GD2, GD. There's one person who is to start off, and there's one person who's actually always, trying to make the best, like he's trying to settle down people who are getting into heated arguments. So these are the traits that we are actually doing in here in Toastmasters. And this is just the beginning, the tip of the ice, that you come with some speeches, some table topics. You have contests, debates, and then teamworks and celebrations happening. So you tend to be doing so much together, and when you meet in person, and that's what we're planning. Of course, we cannot go to Oman to meet Kimji, but then yes, we all people who are in the same area can always meet up and have a hybrid meeting. So that's what we're looking at. So let's make the most of all these things, and without our knowledge, subconsciously improve our language skills. That's what we need to be, proud of doing. And I think yes, we've come a long way, and we have to go a long way too, together. So with that, I think we come to the end of our meeting number 49, and we do have some people. Can we just say thanks to all of them? Toastmaster Mahisha, if you could just, okay, you cannot come on the video. Toastmaster Ishmael, Atisham is your friend. David?
Yeah. She's not a Toastmaster yet. She's I think I'll drag her into that. I think she wanted to just say something before the meeting ended.
Would you want to say a few words, Atisham?
Yeah, I would. Hi, I'm Ishmael. I'm David's friend. And David's always talking about his Toastmaster meetings and how important they are to him, how much he enjoys them. So I was always, curious to see what exactly is happening and what's gotten him so into it, so interested. This was a great insight, and I think it's such a great initiative to help people, improve on their social, like public speaking skills and to get to know each other better. And this was really nice. I'm actually really glad that he invited me to join. So thank you.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Is she a part of Westwood?
No, miss. I know her from school. She's studying medicine in Bulgaria right now.
Oh, fantastic. If she can always, you can just walk in through the Zoom ID into our meetings anytime. And we're always friendly with our kids. Yeah, please do. Thank you so much. Mahisha, a word? Toastmaster Mahisha?
Yes. Yeah, I enjoyed the meeting. It was really fun. I'm already a part of Westwood's Toastmasters club, and I just recently joined, and it's a lot of fun. All the activities, table topics especially. On my first meeting, I spoke on table topics, and David was the one who gave me the topic. He gave me the session itself, and we're supposed to speak about something good and something bad. It was hilarious when I went from good to bad, like half the way on the speech.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking up the role so impromptu. Thank you so much for that. And anyone wants to say a few words before we wind up? Sudha, thank you so much. I do have these thank you appreciation certificates just before. Fortunately, we could not have. Yeah, this is for Sudha for taking up the role as our counter. Sudha, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Toastmaster Mahisha, this is for you, dear. I'm going to send it across. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mahisha.
I'll be happy if you could add SA there. This is the initial.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay then, Nishita, are we bagging you in as a member?
Yes, yeah.
I wouldn't put you on the loose end. You can always make a decision, get back to us. Would love to have you over as a member. And Sudha, the offer is still open to you.
I'll be there, don't worry.
Take care, everyone. Happy Diwali. And have a very safe Diwali and a very, very pompous one. And let's all meet after Diwali once again and share our experiences. With that, thank you, Timer Mihir, for he's been there all through meticulously noting down, and I'm sure he's also working on his CA. Good luck to you on all your seminars and your exams. He's having an exam post Diwali, so let's all wish him good luck over there. And stay in touch. All the best. Thank you, Sri Devi, for that biryani that you cooked. And thank you, Mr. for patiently being with us. Let's podcast very soon and relay it to the world. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.